Hey, this is Keith at Half Tracks and Honeybees. Hope y'all are doing well today. Well, it's been a pretty good while since I did a video. Been kind of busy in the bee yard. The flow has been going crazy here in the eastern foothills of North Carolina. I've pulled honey, I guess, 3 times now. I got the first pull, I believe it was April the 21st. Pulled again on May the 2nd and pulled again on May the 10th or 11th. I don't remember, something like that. Total is around 1,400 pounds right now. Last year I made 1,500 pounds for the whole season, so I'm going to do a little better this year than I did last year. So I'm thankful for that. Been a bit of work, pulling supers and putting supers back on and extracting, and now the markets have started up. So now I'm doing 3 markets a week, 2 in Yadkinville and 1 in Mocksville, 1 county south of us, and selling quite a bit of honey. Sold some to the mead maker up in the mountains. So the year's been going really well. Swarm wise, I had to go up to Miller's Bee Supply today and buy some more equipment. I've got a swarm hanging in the woods right now that I can't get because I didn't have any equipment. So I'm going to get that one in the morning early before the foragers get out. And yeah, the ladies, they'll run you out of equipment in a heartbeat if the swarms start popping. So thankfully they weren't my swarms, as far as I know, maybe a couple of them, but I think I've caught 6 or 7, something like that. So been a pretty good year. No complaints. But I thought we'd just walk around the bee yard and talk about what's been going on and catch up a little bit. It's been a while. Here we go. Okay, these are the hives down here at the shop. Y'all know that's the shop. That's where Bertha lives and Granny. And still have the super stacked up. There's probably 40, 50 gallons of honey on the hives right now, but the flow has really slowed down. So I'm gonna let them set for a while and catch a little bit more. The tulip poplars are winding down, blackberries are gone, black locust has been long gone. Maybe get a little bit of persimmon. I always get a little bit of clover. The mimosas will be kicking in at some point. Middle of June, we will get some. Oh, we got a kamikaze bee here trying to kill me. Okay, I'm back. She didn't kill me, but like I've said before, that hive there in the middle, that's the ones that want to kill me. They're going to probably make close to 200 pounds of honey on that hive this year, so I'm not going to complain a whole lot. As you can see, several nukes there. Got some nukes going on over here. Little 8-frame back in the corner. These 2 little ones right here, they were a surprise. One of my newbies, I sold her a couple of nukes, which are great for folks to learn on, and she came down and we were going through one of them, and danged if it didn't have like 6 or 8 swarm cells in that nuke. So we had to change gears, and the nuke I was going to sell her, I split it into 3, and so I'll sell her a different one. But that was kind of a surprise. The little nukes, like I tell folks, they do everything a big hive does, and one of them is swarming. So anyway, we'll walk up here to the nursery and see what's going on up here. Talk about a few more things. Pretty day today. Look at that sky. Okay. Well, here we are up at the nursery. Might be a few more hives in here than there was the last time y'all were here. There's actually a couple missing. Here on the front on the left, you can see on each end there's an empty spot. A friend of mine from up in the mountains, Ricky Rourke, picked up a couple of his hives that I'd been helping him with. So they should do well for him now. And you can actually see 2 more off in the distance. And those were some recent swarms. And like I said, the swarms ran me plumb out of equipment. So if you'll notice, the one on this side don't even have a proper bottom board on it. It's got a double screen board I'm using for a bottom board. And there's another one, I think, on the front row. Yeah, you can see on this end right there, That one's got a double screen board on it instead of a bottom board. So it was a split that I mentioned in a short I did, where I was putting my wet supers back on, and this little hive right here decided it was going to swarm while I was putting the wet supers back on. Well, I was in a hurry doing that because I had to get up to the market in Yadkinville, so I was here right when the swarm started. So I took that brick on top of the hive and just put it in front of the entrance reducer and blocked it off, and the ladies went crazy. You could peep at them through the screen inner cover. And like right now, they're nice and calm and normal. But man, when they were trying to swarm, it was like everything was just in fast motion, crazy, wacky, sticking their arms up through the screen, just going plumb crazy. But it took them probably 3 or 4 hours to ever calm down. And I finally pulled the brick off of them about dark, and then I split them the next day. So the split is between this box and that one down there on the end. So that should have calmed down any swarming that they want to do. But another thing I want to talk about is a term I came up with. I've never heard it before, and I'm calling it super equalization. How's that for a fancy word for a country boy? Super equalization. Now, what in the world does that mean? Well, you can see on some of these hives, my strong ones, you can see the excluder in there. So there's 4 supers on top of the excluder. That one's got 4. That one's just got 1. I believe this hive swarmed. 2 there, 3 there, 3 on the end. Anyway, what I get into when I start pulling honey supers, the flow comes so hard and fast here that I have to pull honey to stay ahead of them. That's why I pull so many times. Some folks just pull honey once a season, but there's no way I can do that. I'd have to have 500 supers to do that, and the colonies would be up in the trees as far as how tall the supers would be. So I have to pull several times. In some of these hives, you know, another thing that I go for is really strong hives. I try my best not to split. I do all kinds of stuff to keep them from swarming. So I end up with a whole lot of bees in these hives. Let's check this one out and see what's going on up here. You can see, even as tall as this one is, there's a whole lot of bees in this box. So that being the case, if I come in here and pull 3 honey supers, and whether I'm using a skateboard or fume boards to push the bees down, that's a whole lot of bees to cram down in half the number of boxes. You know, that same thing happens all over the place. So super equalization, what I've started doing, a lot of times, some of the hives, the supers aren't full. You might have a weaker hive where neither one of these are totally full. So what I can do, I can pull the 3 supers off of that one and then take one of the supers off of that hive and just stick over here. I can even the supers out across the hives while I'm extracting the honey. Because a lot of times, you know, by the time I get the supers off, I get them into the house, I like to run them through my drying process to get the honey down to around 17, 16%, some even 15. But then extract the honey and get the wet supers back on. But that could take probably 3-day turnaround. And like I said, I don't want all those bees crammed down into a small number of boxes. Plus, I still want plenty of room for the bees to be gathering nectar while I'm extracting the honey. So by taking all these supers and looking at the strong hives and the weak hives and moving supers around between the hives to even things out, it works really good. Now, some of y'all are saying, you can't move the supers around. It's full of bees. You'll start a big fight. Okay, let's talk about that one. Now remember, supers are above the excluder. So nobody's up here in the supers except what I call the transfer bees. Now remember, when foragers come in with nectar, they'll bring it in the bottom board through the entrance reducer, and they're going to transfer that nectar off to another bee, and then that forager is going to turn around and go right out again looking for some more nectar. So the transfer bees, they'll transfer it from bee to bee to bee to bee, each one adding enzymes, and that's where you make honey, until they finally get up here in the super and they'll deposit the nectar into a cell in a super. So these transfer bees, all they are old nurse bees. Most of the time, or for the most part, these transfer bees have never been out of the hive, just like nurse bees. They don't know where they're at. So you can take a super plumb full of transfer bees and stick it over on another hive, and they could care less. They don't know where they're at, just like nurse bees. You can move frames of brood around full of nurse bees. They could care less. It's also a good way if you need to move population. I can take one of these strong supers that's plumb full of bees, and if I want to get more population in another hive, because those transfer bees, they're going to graduate into foragers, so that's going to help your workforce. You can take that super full of transfer bees, stick them over on a weaker hive, you've instantly got a stronger hive. Make sure you got enough food to feed them, obviously, but moving around supers is actually a tool that you can use to not only even out the supers, but also move some of your workforce around. So something to think about. It's working great for me. I have not had any trouble with fighting, any trouble with anything. You just do it and it works. I like things that work that way, don't y'all? Okay, well, hopefully that made sense. Bottom line, you can move supers around to where you need them. If you got a bunch of heavies you need to get rid of, you got a light one you can move over here, do it. Works fine. Well, the ladies are still fairly busy here, but this is nothing like it was a couple of weeks ago, or even a week ago. We did have some big rains come through, which I'm sure washed some of the nectar out of the tulip poplars. They probably won't recover from that, but we've already had a good year. I'm not going to complain about that at all. But hopefully the ladies find something else to get on and before we pull the supers. But I've actually got too many nukes right now. I need to, since I got some more equipment for millers, I need to move some of these strong nukes to a regular 10 frame box. But I also have several of these little 2-story 10 frame boxes that don't want too many of them to tend to going into winter. I like to have them at least 3, so I've got to build them up. And then one other thing that I'll be probably doing here before long, these strong hives, there's no use wasting all that workforce if there's not anything for them to forage. Do have quite a bit of milkweed, but not enough for a bunch of big hives. I'll probably start drawing out some comb. Up at Miller's, I bought another 100 frames that I've added extra wax to, and we'll probably pick a couple of our strongest hives, start feeding them a little bit of sugar, real light sugar syrup, maybe 0.75 to 1, 0.8 to 1, something like that, and put some of this foundation on and let them draw it out while they got all the workers with nothing to do. Then the next thing we'll be looking at, probably end of July, early August, is a round of our OA treatments. I'll do the usual, hit them with it once every 4 to 5 days for 5 rounds. I use screen bottom boards with the pull out IPM boards, so I can check my mite drop after every treatment to see how I'm doing. That's kind of my way of doing a mite wash on the entire colony instead of doing a mite wash using alcohol or Dawn dishwashing detergent. I use oxalic acid to do my wash for me. and then count the mites. And if I can do an OA treatment and drop 4 or 5 mites, I'm in pretty good shape. So that's always what I want to get. So anyway, I think I've rambled enough. Just wanted to catch up a little bit. Got a lot of supers on these hives down here too. There's a lot of honey sitting here right now, but I want to wait just a little bit longer before I pull it. And then we'll see how we did for the year. Okay, that was just a little walkabout with me rambling. Hope you didn't find that too boring, or maybe if you did, maybe you got a good nap out of it. So anyway, it's good to see y'all again. I appreciate you stopping by. If you like this little video, please hit the like button. If you like my channel, please subscribe if you hadn't already. And please make sure you always take time to enjoy the buzz. Y'all take care. Have a great day.